Come in here. Oh, fuck.
What's up?
Hello.
Hey, dude.
What's up, Zach? From the Black Void.
Oh, living the dream.
All right. Anything before we get started?
Both the movies we're going to spend most of the time on failed at the box office.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Next week I have a movie called Memory, the Marilyn Monroe Netflix movie, and this movie called Survivor on HBO. Anything else, or are we skipping any of those?
Survivor's a Holocaust movie. I'm not sure if I want to cover that one or not.
That sounds fun.
Nothing against the subject matter. It's just
nothing against the Holocaust
as a movie subject. I'm not sure if emotionally I want to go there at the moment. So I'm not sure. I haven't looked what the theatrical releases are for next week yet. There's a movie called The Sound of Violet, Violet. That's one I'm probably gonna watch.
Am I coming in at all right now?
Yeah, you're there.
Awesome. Well, awesome. Okay.
And then we told Jeff we'd do this. Maybe he wants to wait for it to be a better week. But we were going to do The Fog in April. We never did.
Oh, yeah. I guess we should do that.
But we don't have, I mean, if we're struggling for a classic idea, I also don't know if, there's not much coming out in 92 next week. And I don't know, unless he's a big Marilyn Monroe fan, how interested he'll be in coming on or not. But we can at least throw that out to him and see what he thinks. All right. You guys ready to get started?
Sure.
1 second. I'm just closing out some tabs because it usually helps me with my ability to hear you. But I use fewer tabs. I don't know why that is, but that is what it is.
Wish this was easier.
Yeah, my laptop completely just took a crap on me today. I'm kind of bummed out about that.
Yeah, whenever
like 6 months though, so I guess that's me.
Every time mine goes down, it's just like something I don't want to deal with. All right, then I will hit the music. You guys won't hear it, and then I'll start.
All right.
Sounds good.
Welcome to the Everyone's a Critic movie review podcast. I'm your co-host, Bob Zerl. With me, as always, is professional film critic, Sean Patrick. And with us once in a while is Zach Kovemaker. Thank you for joining us again, Zach.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me, boys.
Pleasure's all ours. Visit us at ihatecritics.net, everyone'scriticpodcast.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our handle is CriticsPod. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Alexa, all your podcatchers. Rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, and we will read your review on the air. Sometimes we miss it, so if you could let us know, that helps as well. If you do, you'll have a shot at, you will get a DVD. Sean has a bunch, or Blu-ray, rather, that we will be giving away. And then our Patreon.com, our Patreon's Patreon platform. I forgot, the words are just not there today. I apologize. Patreon.com/criticspod. The best way to help support the podcast. Last week we skipped our normal episode and did a Patreon episode live for everybody. I haven't really had any feedback on it yet, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And if you did, head over to patreon.com/criticspod to listen to more of those. And then we are live on YouTube, usually Monday afternoons, evenings. Today it's Sunday, and if we can record on Sunday and knock it out, I think we probably will. But it all depends on our schedules. Anyway, if you want to be notified, follow our social media. I always put it up there when we go live. And if you click on the notification on YouTube, you will be notified when we're live. All right. I hate doing all that, so let's just get to the regular show. I will pull up these movies. First of all, Zach, how you doing? It's been a while since we talked.
It's been great. There's been a lot of good movies and stuff lately. We're getting treated. We got Morbius and Moonfall, like all the top shit.
Well, bye, Zach. Good seeing you.
Yeah. Bye. No. We've just been getting like an embarrassment of riches lately. It's just been like good shit after good shit. It's been a blast. It's hard to keep track, but it's been a blast, man.
Do you like Morbius?
But no, God no, fuck no, God no.
I mean, you like Gremlins too, so God, I didn't know.
Hey, no. Those don't even compare, bruh. Those not even in the same league.
You did like Everything Everywhere, right?
Oh my God, that movie was like an emotional roller coaster. That movie was just perfect. Like I love the Daniels. I love that they keep making movies that apply to where I'm at in life, and I just I love it. I love it so much. Even the death of Dick Long. I know Daniel Kwan wasn't on that one, but that one was fun too. I'm a big old fan of that one. That movie fucking tore me up.
The seeds are in that one, the seeds of what they've done with Everything Everywhere in that, and that they take this outlandish premise and they do something amazing with it.
Mm-hmm. And God, Jamie Lee Curtis is just fearless, man. Like she was just doing some of the craziest shit. Like the whole hot dog finger universe was just so goddamn bizarre,
but emotional, super emotional.
I loved it. I'm tearing up and like someone's deep throating a hot dog. It's beautiful.
You see the hot dog gloves that Big 24 is selling?
I did not see that, but I love it.
They sell out so
I
fast.
did see a clip of Jamie Lee trying to. No, I saw there was a video going around of Jamie Lee Curtis like trying to like knit with the hot dog hands. It was just beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah, no, that's one of the best, not just of the year, but of all time, and it's definitely still sticking with me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to the new episodes this week, and we will start with we're all going to the World's Fair. Forgot to check for this one this week. I checked for it the week before, but we did the bonus episode instead, so I missed it, and I'm really bummed.
Yeah, we're all going to the World's Fair. It comes from director Jane Schoenbrunn and stars Anna Cobb as a young teenager who is seemingly typical teenager. She's kind of disaffected and trying to separate herself from her father and dealing with the loss of her mother, which has been a huge part of her life. So she's got a lot of grief and sadness, and she's taken that energy and put it into this ARG, this alternate reality game, which is something that pops up on YouTube a lot, where people create these massive sprawling stories that people follow and add to, and can follow on Reddit and Facebook and all these places where you can share theories about it. This one happens to be about a challenge called the World's Fair Challenge, and there's a rumor that if you participate in the World's Fair Challenge, it will begin to affect your everyday life. And indeed, it does begin to kind of invade her everyday life when she does decide to participate herself. The movie is just, it's so gloomy and atmospheric and very affecting. It makes really smart choices that evokes the world of ARGs. I love watching these ARG deconstruction videos on YouTube sometimes. There's some great creators that do these amazing deep dives into these weird worlds. Like there's one called Dad, that is just this weird fucking guy who has a family that hates him, and he just has these very strange things happen to him constantly, and he doesn't speak. He just speaks in his head, but you hear it, and it's seemingly the world. It's weird. Anyway, they've done some deep dives into that, and it gets very strange, and I love that. And this movie kind of evokes the idea of what ARGs really are and gets into the horror aspect of it. But also makes it feel real in this girl's life. She gets involved with this guy, not involved, but like she meets this guy who starts following her on YouTube and following her World's Fair Challenge, and he's done it himself. And he's this kind of older guy. And so there's this element of, he doesn't want to be a creep, but he knows that if he spends a lot of time talking to an 18-year-old girl and watching her YouTube videos, it's going to come off as creepy. So he's trying to balance that idea with also wanting to help her, because he can see, he's watching her videos, he can see how much trouble she's in, and that dynamic is very spiky and authentic and creepy and weird. This movie's fantastic, and I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I know nothing about ARGs. Just you kind of tell me a little bit about it ahead of time is all I really know about them. Zach, are you familiar with ARGs? I'm assuming you are, since you're younger than me.
Yeah. They use them a lot for like marketing tools for like random games. Like I know there was like a real popular Halo one for a while, and then like I know the Batman, they had one that was like sprawled after when the movie released, and that's how that deleted scene with the Joker came out, because people like solved some riddles or something like that. So I've seen some of the stuff, but I don't really ever, I guess, care enough to do the deep diving. I just kind of wait for everyone else to solve the stuff first. Like it's a cool ass concept though.
It's exceptionally well executed here, and they use it very, very well. But they also use like classic horror beats as well. There's an element of sort of paranormal activity to it as well that really works. So they also, in terms of the authenticity, they bring in some actual YouTubers who do take part in ARGs, and that adds another element to it. This really is only these two characters, and really is just Anna Cobb on screen for the majority of the movie. And for her to be 18 years old and to hold the screen so well is just such a testament to her remarkable talent at such a very young age. She's going to be huge.
Is it just like filmed through the computer like we are doing right now, or is there like cameras involved?
The cameras, yeah, it gets off of the camera. She goes out into the world several different times. Much of the perspective is often the camera, the computer camera perspective, but it doesn't just hold to that. It's very cinematic.
Nice. I mean, it looks, just a poster alone looks creepy. So I'm definitely interested in seeing this as soon as I remember to look for it next time I'm looking for a movie.
Yeah, I want to check this out. It sounds awesome.
Absolutely. What about Marvelous and the Black Hole?
Marvelous and the Black Hole is a surprising family comedy that's really, really good. It stars Mia Czech as a teenager who we meet as she's destroying her high school. She's just everybody hates her, and she's miserable, and she hates the world, and she's constantly in trouble. And a lot of this leads back, of course, to, again, a similar theme to where we're all going to the World's Fair. She's lost her mother in a fairly recently. Her father is now moving on with a new woman, and that's also causing a lot of tension at home. And she's in trouble, so her dad says you can either go to this camp that looks like part prison and part like reform school for the summer, or she could take a business class at a local college. So she chooses that. And in the business class, she's told she needs to come up with a business. And here she meets a woman played by Rhea Perlman, who is a magician. And she kind of kidnaps Mia Czech's character and uses her in her class where she's entertaining some children. And Mia, her character, just kind of gets into this idea of magic, and she kind of accidentally stumbles into the idea that she's going to do her entire business class on becoming a magician, which is totally not her personality. And that juxtaposition turns out to be very funny. Rhea Perlman is such a pro. She's just so funny and charismatic and unique. She's just so great at this, and her dynamic with Mia Czech is just so good. They play off each other so well. The movie is very funny. The magic is authentically kind of magical, but also like very funny about magicians as well. It's just a great movie, and really a great family movie. It tells a wonderful family story without being that type of insipid family movie, which I guess we'll kind of talk about with the next one.
Sorry, I'm writing down notes because my wife's always looking for a good family movie.
This is a good one. This is worth watching.
Awesome.
Let's see. And then there's Unplugging.
The only truly terrible movie this week is Unplugging, starring Matt Walsh and Eva Longoria, which somehow played nationally. It actually made it to our theater, which is so weird, because this is not a movie that deserves any type of national audience at all. I know the phrase "okay boomer" is not in fashion anymore. Like, it had its moment and it's gone, but this is like the ultimate in okay boomer humor. It's like, oh, those darn kids and their phones that they never put down. Why don't they ever put their phones down? I hate it so much. Eva Longoria is a woman who just never gets off her phone. She makes her family miserable if she ignores them. She works all hours of the day, sending her coworkers messages at all times, and all of her coworkers hate her for this. And we're supposed to find that funny, but I just find it miserable, because if every other character in your movie finds your character miserable, it kind of translates into the audience as well, weirdly enough. Her husband, Matt Walsh, is also very connected to his devices. He plays video games. He's got an online business. And when his friend, played by Al Madrigal, dies, he decides, oh, we've got to get off of our phones. So he books a cabin in the woods away from in a space that's known for not having any cell coverage. And the rest of the movie is just her whining about not being able to be on her phone. And that's it. That's all the movie is, just her complaining constantly. And of course, it's all building to the stupid ending where she realizes how wrong she is to be connected to her phone all the time. God, this movie is miserable to watch.
I mean, it's miserable to live. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they're going for the, like, I can definitely relate to,
yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to watch a movie about it. And if we were to go into the woods, I'm sure there would be some complaining. But That said, I don't need another movie about how women are wrong. Not right now. I also don't need the Goofy Dad movie either, which I don't know how. I gotta imagine there's a little bit of that with Matt Walsh being the character.
Yeah.
This should be like the second movie that Netflix releases in a week, not even like the main one.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Ava Longoria usually is in the Matt Walsh, title section of where he is here, and then he should be 2 or 3 steps down in a movie that's going to be the first release that week. So, great supporting characters. Don't get me wrong. But,
yeah.
Not great,
Speaking of supporting characters, poor Leah Thompson is in this movie playing the least Leah Thompson character possible. She plays like a weird conspiracy theorist living in the woods, and it's this character wasn't funny when you had 17 different old men who played them, and it's still not funny when Leah Thompson plays it.
But it's progress. Sorry. Yeah, let's move on because I'm already bored. Unless you have any questions, no. Unless you want to talk about it more, Zach.
I'm good. I hadn't heard of this movie before tonight. I'm not going to hear about it again. It's okay. Two ships passing in the dead of night.
Yes. Let's get to why Zach is here, and we'll start with Nicolas Cage as Nicolas Cage in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
The Unbearable Weight of His Massive Talent is Nicolas Cage as Nick Cage. And that's important because this is a fictionalized version of Nicolas Cage, the one that's based off of our perception of who Nicolas Cage is, this guy who's constantly working, making weird movie choices, who has money problems and just kind of a weird social life. And Nicolas Cage is a goddamn genius. The way he combines what we think of Nicolas Cage with who Nicolas Cage is, and he just rides that line of reality. It's just so fucking fun to watch. The idea here is that he desperately needs money, so his agent, played by Neil Patrick Harris, gets him a gig attending the birthday party of a guy who may or may not be an international terrorist. Pedro Pascal plays him, Javi, who's a Nicolas Cage super fan. He's got everything Nicolas Cage. Face Off is his third favorite movie of all time, or first favorite movie of all time, and he has just every Nicolas Cage thing possible, and he desperately wants to work with him. He's come up with a screenplay, and he wants to have Nicolas Cage read it. The great thing about Pedro Pascal is that he's just so goddamn lovable in this role. He's just so charmingly, like, genuinely in love with the idea of being friends with Nicolas Cage, and I just love how much he leans into that fanboy side of himself that you wouldn't expect from a guy as handsome and competent as Pedro Pascal. It's really playing against type in so many ways. And then the movie cleverly uses our idea of who this character is as if he's an international terrorist. We've seen a terror thing happen in the movie where a woman has been kidnapped to influence an international election, and there's a big CIA spy plot happening on the side. And the second act, where Nicolas Cage is playing sort of he's being essentially used by the CIA to get inside Javi's compound, is so fucking hysterical. They come up with so many great ideas to play Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal off of each other and our perception of who Pedro Pascal's character is. It's just brilliant. And then the final act just goes completely over the top in the best possible ways. I love this movie. This is the funniest movie of the year by far.
Yeah,
we didn't deserve this movie. It was so good. Like pretty much like everything he said. Like, I just wanted to give Pedro Pascal a hug like every time he said anything, because he was the most likable, lovable dude. Like, he said the most outlandish shit, and you just accepted it because like just the way he came off was just so like, oh, like he was perfect. Those two together was just like a buddy cop movie made in heaven. Like every scene with that, like scenes that were in the trailer that I thought would be corny as fuck ended up being like perfect with context. Like that joke with the wall, I won't spoil anything, but holy shit, that is amazing with context.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely one I keep recommending to people. I hope everyone watches it. I hope people don't just dismiss it because it has Nicolas Cage in it. Like every now and again, that man just knocks it out of the park, and he knocks it the fuck out of the park. Like it's so much fun beginning to end. I'm actually excited because girlfriend didn't go see it with us, so I get to watch it again here in the next couple of days. So I'm pretty excited actually. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's up there for me right now. Like obviously, like Everything Everywhere at Once is the top, but this one's pretty close to it. I haven't laughed that hard since it's been a bit. It was fun.
Yeah, and in hindsight or in retrospect, as we're looking at some of his older movies, he knocks it out of the park more than he doesn't. That's kind of what I'm starting to understand. And even talking about that podcast or whoever it was that was comparing John Travolta to Nicolas Cage, and even he was kind of like, "This isn't fair." They're not in the same. They deserve to be in the same sentence, other than the movie Face Off. Nicolas Cage is a fantastic actor. This, I don't know. I mean, I love it. Everything you're saying is true. I had it basically met my expectations. I feel like it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I enjoyed every second of it. If I had never seen it, I still would have enjoyed it just as much because I knew everything it was going to be as it was.
Yeah.
It was so, but at the same time, this is a movie you're going to watch over and over again. It's a ton of fun. And so nothing new is really broken here other than just they took it seriously and had fun with it. And Pedro Pascal almost stole the movie from Nicolas Cage. More than not, they carried it together. But he's right there with them, and he's definitely not lesser than in this movie. They're equally as fun. I don't know. I guess I would say go see it, but if you never saw it, you know what it is. And I do think that's a fair criticism of it if you're not a huge Nicolas Cage fan. But
yeah,
I mean, they reference a lot of his movies, and even the stuff they do with some of the other movies that he has nothing to do with is pretty amazing. Even the corny family story that goes with it, they basically took elements of every Nicolas Cage movie and throw it in here and make it work. I don't know. And the reality is it's heightened, but it's not heightened any more than he acts. Like when we went to see Mandy and they had the Q&A, the way he walked out on stage, like that's about as heightened as this movie. I mean, they play. It's very smart in the way they do it, and I didn't even pick up on that. I knew they called him Nick the whole time, but
yeah,
didn't know they spelled it with a K. I didn't even think anything of that. It's actually pretty funny now that you say that.
The inclusion of that younger version of himself that he has a conversation with regularly is very funny. I think there are 3 instances of it, one in each act, and it just works each time. It's goddamn brilliant, and it's not an original idea. I think they stole that idea from the Burt Reynolds movie, the Last Movie Star. They did that, where Burt Reynolds talks to younger versions of himself. But even then, it's funny because it's Nicolas Cage, and it's Nicolas Cage having a conversation with Nicky Cage, and they're very funny. It's very funny. There's at one point where Nicky just kisses him. It's just so fucking Nicolas Cage kissing Nicolas Cage is just I that's my biggest laugh of the year, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, for sure.
Nicky Cage gives the best smooches.
I thought for sure they were going to do that more and have throughout his career, because it seemed like it was a Wild at Heart version of Nicolas Cage, like that era. I mean, I think it was that era. And he definitely kind of played similar to that character. I don't know. This was the right amount of time. Everything about it was perfect. It's a ton of fun. Even Ike Barinholtz and Tiffany Haddish are fun. Neil Patrick Harris is great. This movie is really everything it wanted to be. It accomplished perfectly.
Yeah.
Anything else on the unbearable weight of massive talent?
It failed, unfortunately. About $7.2 million at the box office, but it only cost $20 million to make, so it's got it doesn't have much to get over the line to be at least a movie that makes money, but certainly I wish this had been a bigger hit.
I think this is going to be one that's going to blow up once it hits like video on demand. Once this hits like Vudu and stuff, people are probably going to be like, yeah, I'll drop $12 on that. I think that's where it's going to probably pop off, and it should, because I mean, I can't wait to buy it. I'm pretty excited for that. This is my type of stupid right here. This is like the perfect way to spend a Saturday afternoon. Like I'm in. Go see it, everybody.
I do love that, like Nicolas Cage is the star of this podcast now. Like everything for us is just, it's always coming back to Nicolas Cage now, and it's it's becoming like a meme of this show is that Nicolas Cage has done something amazing.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just like, holy shit, 20 years ago he did this and it was actually amazing. It didn't suck. We thought it sucked, but it was actually really good. Yeah, I think you're right. It will do much better when it gets to video on demand.
Yeah.
I'm more bummed the fact that he has been out there promoting this and hasn't done that in forever. And people are watching him show up on the talk shows and this and that. But anyway, we'll see how it ends up. Let's move on to what's supposed to be the big movie of the week, The Northman.
The Northman stars Alexander Skarsgård in the story of Amleth, a boy who sees his father, played by Ethan Hawke, who's the king, murdered by the king's brother, played by Claes Bang, Fjolnir. The boy manages to get away. He grows up into the man that is Alexander Skarsgård. And this is a story that actually inspired Shakespeare to write Hamlet. And there are elements of, obviously, Hamlet, but also elements of King Lear. There's elements of Macbeth in this. There's a lot of influence in Shakespearean storytelling, but also in Robert Eggers style storytelling. And that's what really is the star here. The way Robert Eggers tells the story is incredible. He did The Witch. He did The Lighthouse. They're both just, all three of these movies are just incredibly unique and based on just his sort of weird fascination with weirder cultures, whether it's about witches, whether it's about Norse mythology, or if it's about lighthouse keepers who suffered a weird fate. The story here is incredibly violent. It's incredibly like over the top, bloody, disgusting, violent in some ways, but also it's like a Led Zeppelin record come to life. Like it's just one of the most metal movies imaginable, which is so great. There's a couple of scenes where I was just listening to Led Zeppelin in my head and hearing Jimmy Page while I'm watching this movie play out, which is just kind of awesome. Basically, the basic idea, he returns, he's reminded by a seeress played by Bjork, who reminds him of his destiny, that he's supposed to avenge his father's death, rescue his mother, and murder his uncle. And that drives the entirety of his story. Along the way, he does meet a character played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who is perhaps a witch herself. We don't necessarily see her do anything particularly supernatural, but there's elements involved, and she certainly she creates her own sort of mythic qualities that really work for the story. Nicole Kidman, though, Nicole Kidman is fucking amazing in this movie. Every scene she's in, she's not pulling focus, like she's not taking the movie from anybody, but she's just so good at this character, and the way she plays this character, the way she plays the twists and turns of this story is so skillful and so impactful. She makes every scene that she's in matter so much more because she's playing it, and she's playing it so well. That sort of icy quality that you associate with Nicole Kidman is just so much a perfect part of the way this story plays out. This movie is awesome, and I absolutely love it.
Zach?
Oh yeah, I had a great time with this. Like this, the way that there are times where like the green screen just kind of clashed with everything. It kind of gave it almost like a cartoony, like comic booky like effect to it. Like every scene was just gorgeous. I love the battle scenes. I love how just violent and gritty it was. Like you don't get to see that very often. And I'm a big fan of like like Nordic history and all that kind of shit. So this was just a treat. Like I love watching Vikings do Viking shit. Um, yeah, it was great. Anya Taylor-Joy is perfect all the time. Like she's always great. Like this movie was just another banger, man. Like the Lighthouse was great. The Vivitch was great. I'm having I want more. I want another movie every year from this man. I just want to inject it straight into my fucking veins. Like he makes beautiful ass shit. Like you could literally like pair every scene, like kind of like what Sean was saying. You could pair any scene with like any metal album, and it would probably turn out badass. Like fucking throw on some God's Hate while they're fighting in the volcano, and it would have been perfect. Like anything would have matched up. It was beginning to end just phenomenal shit.
Yeah, I loved it too. At the same time, I think I like it the least of all of his movies, if that makes sense. This is the most straightforward, and it's not that straightforward compared to most movies. I mean, the story is, but what he shows on screen is definitely out there and very fantasy, very gory. Led Zeppelin's a perfect comparison because the soft moments to the heavy moments are all there within this movie. That said, I just saw Everything Everywhere all at once, and that just makes this good. It's really, really good, really great, fantastic, whatever you want to say. But it was hard for me to just I wanted it to, I don't know. I kept waiting for my brain to have to figure something out. It was more straightforward, and that's not the movie's fault. It's very good, but I'll take him doing the smaller movies versus the big ones. As fantastic as this was, everything, it's perfect. It's a great movie. I do love it. It's just we just literally saw one of the best movies of all time, and now even this probably is one of the best movies of the year. In comparison to that, in my mind. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Nicole Kidman, you are 100% right from the beginning to the end, specifically the end. But the way she's committed to this character, and the way, I heard she really went for it in this movie, and I'm watching, halfway through it, and you're just like, she's just kind of in the background. What the hell's going on? And then also you're like, oh, okay. But you're right. She doesn't pull focus. It's perfect. To do what she did and not, be the, Daniel Day-Lewis or, whoever else that just kind of look at me. And I don't know if that's her or Robert Eggers or Alexander Skarsgård or the combination of the three of them. But the way that scene, specifically that one scene, plays out is, it's pure perfection. It really is. I love everything about it. It's just, I don't have much to say about it. There's nothing to break down. It's a cool Viking movie. It's like a Led Zeppelin album.
The movie has a very specific quality. It's telling a very specific story. Robert Eggers wanted, his basic motivation was, I want to make the definitive Vikings movie. And if you're not somebody who really loves Vikings, that may not be appealing to you, which probably reflects why, this movie cost $80 to $90 million and only made about 12 million at the box office this weekend. So it's definitely going to struggle to get to profitability. If you're not weirdly invested in Vikings, you may have some trouble giving yourself completely over to this movie. And I definitely feel that. I think you're right about this not being The Witch or The Lighthouse. It's just a slight step below but his bar of quality is so high that's a step higher than most other movies.
Right.
He's incredible. The visual style, the violence, the sort of symphonic rises and falls of his storytelling is just he's exceptional in that way. But it is a very specifically Viking movie. That was his whole point. He wanted to make the definitive Viking movie, and that's what he's done. And you can respect that. But if you're somebody who's deeply into Vikings, yes, this movie is absolutely for you. If you're not into Vikings, if you're just kind of a passive fan of a really good filmmaker, I can see where that keeps this movie held back, if only a little bit.
Right. Well, and the other part that's not helping is he was on Mark Maron's podcast, kind of like, I mean, I'm proud of it, but I wish I could do it again. Saying things like that. Because it's not the vision I have.
Wow.
And but he said that about The Witch too.
Okay.
Because the only movie he's truly made that it's been, that really knocked out his vision was The Lighthouse, which he said that before the Northman came out. And not that everybody listens to Mark Maron's podcast, but that's not the first time I've heard him say something about the struggles of making this movie. But there's nothing, like, I can't punish this movie because it's not Midsummer, because he wasn't making Midsummer. He was making a Viking movie, a definitive Viking movie, and he did that. And it's not fair to. Is
his problem with this movie is that it doesn't have enough Willem Dafoe farting? Because it's there. It's in the movie.
It is there.
1,000%. I wanted more. That was like my only takeaway. Is like I was kind of hoping that he would carry around Willem Dafoe's head and maybe like talk or some shit like some God of War, like Hellblade, or fart. Yeah. Like I want it, man. Have him drag around a dead Willem Dafoe, like Swiss Army man, and he just farts and they get into scrambles. I want that.
I'm just gonna say that Daniels did that. They even had, maybe not farting, but they had enough potty humor and everything all at once. That said, it really is truly a fantastic movie. I hate saying anything even halfway negative. I wish I would have had a little more time between this and Everything Everywhere All the Time, or all at once, if that makes any sense at all.
I'm actually afraid that because Everything Everywhere All at Once was so good, I might not like Doctor Strange. Like I'm actually like kind of fearful of that, and I can't wait for Doctor Strange. But it's like that movie was so good; it perfected the multiverse thing. Like, I want to live in that movie. Like, God damn it!
You are. Just gotta shove something up your ass to get there.
Well.
Do something weird.
We're gonna have a fun Sunday night.
One of
my favorite things I saw about that movie was this guy on Reddit was saying that it was the perfect use of Chekhov's butt plug. I was like, yeah.
You show the butt plug early on, you got to bring it back.
Yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back with a vengeance. So that was the best use of slow motion I think I've ever seen. So good.
But to that, what we're talking about is in 3 weeks, I still think we'll be doing this with Everything Everywhere All at Once, similar to the way to more Midsummer. And this one just 2 weeks later. It might pop up here and there because, again, it's fantastic. Probably might even make my list at the end of the year. I love Robert Eggers. He's one of my favorite directors. But I don't think this is going to have the lasting power for me that specifically The Witch and the Lighthouse had. But even more so, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Again, not fair to judge this movie against that. It's not trying to make that movie. It's trying to make what it made. And he perfected what he was making, at least in my eyes. Apparently in his eyes, he didn't. But, I really can't wait to see what he does next. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. That's kind of part of the bummer here is I was hoping we'd have a movie that we just go on and on and on about for the whole podcast. and I'm kind of out of stuff to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to see a movie like achieve this, not perfection, but like just this high level of achievement. And then you're just kind of, yeah, it was pretty good. It's not this transcendent, life-changing experience that Everything Everywhere was, but yeah.
Like this would have been perfect like in 2 months.
Yeah.
As everything is disappointing me, and then this comes out to be like, okay, there are great movies. This could have been my Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The movie that brought me back from Midsummer, the Midsummer funk. This could have been that. Just I needed a little more time.
But, yeah. I love this movie though, and it's sad to see that it didn't do very well. And I hope this doesn't hurt Robert Eggers. You know, the fact that that this movie cost $80 to $90 million and is not going to be a blockbuster. Like, I don't know why anybody thought to spend $80 to $90 million on a movie like this. There's no marketing hook for this aside from maybe Anya Taylor-Joy is a pretty good marketing hook, I guess, but like Alexander Skarsgård is a good actor. He's really great in this movie. He's got this wonderful combination of the child Amleth and the adult Amleth, especially in his eyes. Like, you can see the pain and the torture and the anguish in his eyes so beautifully. That's one of the best parts of the movie. But like, he's not a movie star. He's not a big ticket seller, you know? So there was nothing about this that was going to sell tickets in that way. To treat this like a blockbuster is kind of almost, I don't want to say insulting to this idea, because this is basically a Viking art movie. And so I hope this doesn't, like I said, I hope this doesn't hurt Robert Eggers. Maybe he can just go back to lower budgets and just do the movie that he actually wants to make. I wonder too, if that high budget was maybe imposed upon him, and like he had maybe that's what his idea was, is that he had this idea to make this movie without an $80 to $90 million budget. And somebody said, nope, here you go. Almost $100 million. Make a Viking movie.
Well, and maybe, I mean, I know that, you know, listening to him on the Mark Maron podcast, if you haven't heard it, is really interesting. I think a lot of his ideas were bigger budgets, and or I shouldn't say a lot of them, but he wanted to do a few things, and I think this might have been one of them early on, and you can't do that with no history. And so, but I do think he likes being in that lighthouse level of budget. So, and I don't know, people like working with him, it sounds like, and I mean, what Denis Villeneuve, he made the Blade Runner movie. That's kind of a similar thing. It's like, you know, it's going to fail, but why are you making it? You knew it was great. It was a fantastic movie, and then he got to go and do Dune, which is, how did that do? Did that make its money back?
Really well. Yeah, good. It's a blockbuster, and they're making the second one already. So
excellent. But anyway, he got a second chance.
What is wrong with you?
So that movie came out, I think, when I was in Florida, and then like I just didn't get around to it, and then it disappeared from HBO, and I just like, fuck it. Now it's back. I need to watch it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. Worst case, he goes back to A24 and knocks it out of the park for them.
Yeah.
I mean, look how many times Sam Raimi's come back. Like, his movies were worse than this, so I think he'll be good. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, but he's an artist. I guess Sam Raimi is too, but he's more of a blockbuster artist.
Yeah.
Anything else on the Northman?
I just, like I said, I hope that this doesn't reflect on him, and in terms of the box office performance, because it should reflect well on him in terms of his artistry. He's incredible. He's an incredible director, and this movie is awesome in so many ways. It's just not a movie that a lot of people were ever going to go see.
Right. I will say that I tried to go see it 3 different times, and the theaters are pretty packed every time I try to get tickets for it. Yeah. So at least locally it did okay. The Nicolas Cage movie, there's nobody in there for that. Although when I bought the ticket, I picked my seat, empty theater, and I get there and there's people like right on top of me. I'm like, why would you can pick anywhere you want? Why do you do this?
That's horrible.
I want to be close.
Horrible.
Yeah, now I have COVID. No, I don't. But all right. Let's move on to our undisputed classic, the 1969 political thriller Z.
Z, from director Costa Gavras, proceeds from a story about set in some seemingly unnamed foreign country that is divided politically deeply between the idea of socialism or even communism and the American ideal of capitalism and Christianity. The ruling class is essentially very, very capitalistic and very religious driven. The people who are protesting on the other side are very much socialists. They're looking out for the working class, and they're sparking sort of a revolutionary talk among many people about trying to make sure that people are taken care of and that the government is not an evil force in their lives. Meanwhile, you've got this government that is conspiring against these socialists very directly. The opening scene is this fascinating sort of almost mundane meeting that sounds like it's about agriculture, but in the reality, it's actually almost this coded conversation about the ways in which they're going to use propaganda to disrupt this socialist gathering. And the centerpiece of the movie is this doctor who's also a politician who's coming to give this very socialist left-leaning speech, and the ways in which the ruling class have worked to undermine that by creating, taking away the places where they can hold their meetings, setting them up specifically to be in this one spot that they know that they can kind of manipulate. And they've set in motion this plot using a bunch of very poor people and manipulating those poor people into a violent thing. And it is so fascinating the way this reflects our modern American culture, the way that so many people on the bottom of the economic ladder are fooled and sort of paid into the idea of protecting the ruling class. And that's essentially the story of Z, is that these group of very poor people who are desperately in need of money to get by are essentially paid off to act out violently in this moment, and then are protected by this ruling class who tries to frame the socialists as the ones who are causing the violence, when reality is that they're not. The socialist leader is murdered. Jean-Louis Trintignant plays the lead character, who is the magistrate who comes in to investigate this. And the way he plays that character is so fucking brilliant, right down the middle, very much based on fact and evidence, and trying to be as unbiased as possible. And when you watch that character unfold as he does, growing into this sort of righteousness that eventually develops, it just underlines the tragedy of the ending so beautifully. This movie is so incredible, and I can't imagine why it isn't talked about more, especially the way that it is so immensely reflective of people who are, I don't want to say they're being duped, but just people who are sort of have bought into the lie that the ruling class, this lie that is essentially American capitalism, this lie that you don't deserve to have health care, that you should have to suffer every day to get by, and that the ruling class is here to be benevolent to you, but realistically they're just lying to you. They could give you health care, they could give you a good life that you could thrive in, but they just choose not to because it might cut into what they do, and it might cut into their power or their money. Just an absolute amazing revolutionary film.
Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. It is very weird. How some movies hold a mirror to what's going on today. This holds up a mirror, but it predates us by several decades. Mm-hmm. Is pretty incredible. The only reason I can think it's not talked about is because it's a foreign film. It's not, the American government. It's a different government. That'd be the only thing. But you'd be an idiot to not be able to see the comparisons and of what's, mm-hmm. especially with what's going on today, even more so. It's really, really good, and I highly recommend it. It's very easy to watch, very frustrating, very intriguing, everything. I mean, it's a fantastic movie, and I'm glad we watched it. One of the best political thrillers I've ever seen. It's up there, very, 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 very good. It's on HBO right now if anybody wants to see it, if they have HBO.
There are several just really incredibly cinematic scenes too that work to underline the main point of the movie, and that is that these these poor men who are awful people. Like, they're awful guys. The men who commit the murder are terrible people, and you want to see terrible things happen to them. But at the same time, they have these incredible scenes where the socialist leader is giving a speech where he's talking about, the working class needs to be treated better. They need health care. They need better pay. They need higher wages. And then you hear these guys, after they've done this horrific thing, talking about, their economic situation. Like, the one guy just wants to pay off his truck so he can continue to deliver what he delivers. And that's the main reasoning why he did what he did. And if you could sense that if this guy just took a minute to listen to what the politician who gets murdered is saying, this socialist politician is saying, he might be the kind of guy who could be inspired by that. Yeah, that would be a better place to be if they would pay me more, and I could be out of poverty and have the things that I need to get by. The root thing that we keep forgetting, and when these people are demonizing the idea of socialism, is they think that means the government gives you anything. And it's really just not that. It's just about sort of evening the playing field a little bit. It's making sure that people aren't suffering on a daily basis. That's the baseline thing of this, is just making sure that people aren't just suffering needlessly. And, it still calls upon people to go to work every day and do their job. It's just the idea that you're going to be paid well enough to live on your job that you have. Like, that's the baseline of socialism, and people keep kind of missing that. The fact that other countries are able to provide healthcare, and they look at our system and they go, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, just treat people better. It's bizarre when you look around the rest of the world and see governments that are supposedly less than ours who are just able to take care of their people. And then we look at that and go, well, no, I'm against that. I suffered in my life, so you have to suffer too, is such a bizarre mindset that we've built into the baseline of this country.
Crazy thing about the healthcare, not to go off on a tangent, is that there's no, like, insurance is so expensive. No, everybody's just, they're spending so much money on this, and the corporations are having to buy it for their employees. Why would you not want? I can't understand the logic, other than the fact that they just don't want to pay taxes.
Insurance is the biggest scam in the world. I mean, you're paying them every month in case something might happen. And then even when something happens, they might not cover that. And it's like, I gave you all this money. What do you mean you're not going to cover the thing that's wrong with me now?
It's out of not cover it. Yeah,
it's bizarre. They get to come up with all these ludicrous reasons not to, and that's their business model, is coming up with reasons not to pay for what you're asking them to pay for. It's truly bizarre. And if you took the entire insurance industry and just turned that into a public health care system, suddenly everybody's covered and taken care of. I don't know.
We don't want that.
That math just works, doesn't it?
No, we don't want that, man.
But when you call it tax,
we all got to suffer together.
When you call it taxes versus you pay, I mean, it literally would be the same thing. But when you call it taxes, it drives people nuts. They're already paying for it. I mean, it really is insane to me. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I would say the only thing different about this movie today is that, you did trust that socialist leader. You believe what he was saying. I don't necessarily know that there's anybody out there right now that I just go, that's a good person. That's not a career politician on the left right now. So I think that's the main difference between the two. But it's still a fantastic movie, and it is on HBO, and it really, I recommend watching, especially if you're into movies. Because it's not just the subject matter. I mean, it looks good. It's well acted. Everything about it's just truly fantastic.
It's dynamic. It's a thriller in so many different ways as well, which is fantastic. But it's got this very deep political bent to it. Zach, have we convinced you to watch it?
Yeah, I might actually check it out. I had never even heard about it before tonight. This is another one of those. It was not on my radar, but yeah, I'll put it in my list. How long is it?
2 hours.
Is this like a 3-hour affair?
No,
just 2 hours. I can get down with that. I can get down with that.
All right, before we get to flick chart, I will say next week we've got, I believe there's a movie coming to the theater called Memory. There's a Marilyn Monroe movie that's pretty controversial on Netflix. And then The Sound of Violet that Sean's going to be watching. As of right now, unless something pops up, we're going to try to make The Fog our classic. We promised Cousin Jeff to do that a few months ago. And we're a little behind on it, so we will do that. 1992, nothing of note really comes out. Folks, K2, Livewire, Night on Earth, and Split Second. It's been last week we didn't record. Nothing really from 92 came out that was of note last week, and nothing this week as well. So I don't have anything on 92 for this episode. Go to patreon.com/criticspod to help support the podcast and listen to our bonus episodes. And if you want some of our TeePublic merch, go to IHateCritics.net and click on the TeePublic link. All right. Do you guys want to play Flick Chart?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm down.
Let's do that then. Okay. Palmetto or Nightmare on Elm Street 2010.
I don't think I've seen Palmetto.
I had, but I don't remember it. I actually saw it in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
Big Elizabeth Shue fan. All right. Howard the Duck, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010.
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Just from an ironic, humorous standpoint, it's just better than that piece of shit remake.
Honestly, you could have put any other movie up against that movie, and I would have just picked it.
Friday the 13th remake, Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
All right, I'll take the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I think I would too. Spotlight, Space Jam.
Yeah.
Spotlight.
I'm gonna pick Space Jam, but I do like Spotlight.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick Spotlight.
My childhood.
Space Jam's okay. Poltergeist, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah, Eternal Sunshine all day.
Yeah. Cabin Fever, 2002, The Librarian, Quest for the Spear.
That's a TV movie or something.
Cabin Fever, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation's funnier. I'll take that one.
I think Cabin Fever is funnier.
Yeah.
It's better.
Well, you're not laughing with Mortal Kombat Annihilation. You're laughing at it.
All right, but you're laughing with Cabin
Yeah.
Fever. What are you going with, Zach? Cabin Fever or Mortal Kombat?
Oh, I'm going Mortal Kombat. I can't. Yeah, that's another one. It's hot garbage from my childhood.
Cabin Fever is actually
had to. That's not bad.
Metropolitan, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
It's been 27 years, 30 years since I saw Metropolitan. It wasn't available to watch when we were going to do it for 30 years, so I can't.
What about Child of Rage?
No, never. That's a 92 movie. We have to define that.
Yeah, well, we're into that one here pretty soon. 42, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
I'm gonna go 3 billboards.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I am too. If you listen back to our episode of 42, I don't think we loved it that much.
Yeah.
I think we called it Angels in the Outfield with N-words. Roxanne.
3 billboards a little problematic here and there, but yeah. You only realize it after you see it, years after you see it, when other people start talking about it. You go, oh yeah.
Roxanne, The Sixth Sense.
The Sixth Sense.
Agreed.
I'm gonna go with Roxanne only because I actually hadn't seen The Sixth Sense, mainly because it always got spoiled to me, so I just felt like I never needed to. I get the memes, I just never have seen that whole movie because I just don't care now. It's been ruined for me so many times when I was younger. I just fuck it. Didn't really care.
Fair enough. Someone to Watch Over Me. Have you seen that? There's a lot of random weird.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, yeah.
Clear and Present Danger, 127 hours.
127 hours.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
SWAT, Superman Returns.
Superman Returns, I guess, because SWAT is so shitty. They both
Honestly,
suck.
Superman Returns is Superman Returns is kind of fun to go back to now. Like it's aged kind of well in like a really campy garbage type of. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's not great. Don't get me wrong.
Aged kind of well in a shitty way. That's basically what you just said.
Yeah, literally. It's like Spider-Man 3. It was a bad movie of its time, but it's fun to watch now. Like go back to it. It's like, oh, okay. There's no stakes in this anymore.
Rubber, you know that one, Sean?
The Killer Tire movie, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, Rubber or Annihilation? I've never seen Rubber.
Annihilation.
It's Annihilation. Rubber's fucking terrible.
It really is.
It's one of those.
It's so dumb, but it's kind of entertaining in that dumbness.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, 1939. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
I guess I'll go Hitchhiker's Guide. I don't know if I've seen the other one.
I'm the other way, so I guess I mean Mr. Smith. Yellow Submarine. When Who's Harry Crumb?
Yellow Submarine.
Yellow Submarine.
Agreed. The Man Who Wasn't There. Analyze that.
The Man Who Wasn't There is a fantastic fucking movie.
Yeah, I agree. That's the one I'd pick. I remember seeing that once. It was fucking great.
Dial M for Murder. Wag the Dog.
Dial M for Murder. I wish I loved Wag the Dog the way I did when it came out, but it's gone the other way since then, and I really hate it now.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've come around to deeply dislike that movie, and part of that's just hating Dustin Hoffman so much.
Yeah, I guess he's supposed to be the likable guy in the movie.
I'll live in the meme on that one.
The Dial M for Murder is great anyway. So
yeah, it is.
Fright Night, Argo.
Argo.
Ooh, Argo.
I agree. Electra, Out of Sight.
Out of Sight.
Oh yeah, Out of Sight. Electra's water trash.
Agreed. Moana, Gandhi.
Moana.
Yeah, 100%.
Agreed. The Wolverine 2013.
Oh, for fuck's sake. For fuck's sake.
A bullet.
The Wolverine. I fucking hate Transformers that much. That's how much I hate fucking Transformers.
I agree. Oh, this is great. The Blind Side or Santa Claus 2. And the reason this is great, this is the one you text me about, right, Sean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Sean wrote a glowing review about this movie and has no memory of doing that. So what do you pick?
I'm working on my blog, right? Shout at the Movies blog, and just posting old reviews to this blog. I'm getting ready still ready to launch it, so I haven't posted everything yet. But I did reread and post this one about the Santa Claus 2, and I wrote this amazing, like, glowing review of how much I loved the Santa Claus 2, and I did. I was shocked because I really liked this movie. Like, I put a lot of effort into how much I really liked this movie, to the point where I guess it's kind of back in my head now because I like it more than The Blind Side. I'm going to pick it.
Well, The Blind Side hasn't aged well.
No.
Is this the one with the plastic Tim Allen?
Yes.
I don't remember. Okay, it is. I had to go Santa Claus 2, but I had my senior year in high school, I had this teacher who was retiring that year, and we watched The Blind Side. I'm not even shitting you. We watched The Blind Side like 30 times that year. He just kept playing it because he didn't want to do any work. It was one of those things I was like, man, I kind of hate you, but I respect the shit out of you for this.
My battery is very low, so at some point this podcast is just going to end. So just let everybody know that's what happened. But anyway, Incendies, seen that one?
It's a very good movie, but most people haven't seen it. We can just skip that one.
All right. Die Hard 2, Zack and Mary Make a Porno. Sounds like
Zack and Mary buy a lot.
I'm going Zack and Mary, but I do like Die Hard too.
I like Die Hard too. I like Zack and Mary a lot more. Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation,
always go with Kevin
Hell. Yeah, Kevin Smith, I love him.
Let's see. It's tough actually for me because I think Rogue Nation is awesome, but I love Shallow Hal. I think Shallow Hal's funny. I'm gonna pick Rogue Nation.
Picking Shallow Hal. So cute, Zach.
Yeah, I gotta go Mission Impossible, but Shallow Hal I love. I watch that movie all the time on Comedy Central. All the time.
I worry that it's one of those movies and we go back like, oh, that didn't turn out well.
Yeah, there's some jokes in there that aren't great.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now.
Joe versus the Volcano, the Presidio.
Joe versus the Volcano.
Joe versus the Volcano.
Yeah. Ladder 49, The Crucible.
The Crucible.
Yeah, I gotta go with Crucible.
Throw Mama from the Train. Along Came a Spider.
Controversial opinion. I don't love Throw Mama from the Train. I know a lot of people do like that movie. I don't find it particularly good as a comic riff on Hitchcock. I don't like any of the characters in it. I don't like Billy Crystal in it. But Along Came the Spider is a terrible movie as well. So I don't know what to do here. I'm going to go Along Came a Spider because it's more entertainingly bad, I guess.
I hate spiders when I go throw Mama from the train. That's up to you.
Fuck it, we'll go Along Came a Spider because it has a spider in it. I don't fucking know.
Insidious, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Insidious.
Yeah. Love that movie.
Capote, I Want to Eat Cheese with Someone.
Capote.
Yeah,
Capote.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, 1972.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. No, I do love Conquest of the Planet of the Apes and sort of an ironic appreciation.
Yeah, Tinker Tailor Soldier. Yeah, that one. I can't talk right now. Swallowing my tongue.
Logan AI.
See, I've kind of come around on the whole Logan thing after watching it again and kind of seeing the quality of it.
Yeah.
I still love AI though, so I'm kind of torn. I don't know. Where are you guys going?
Logan.
Okay.
I'm going Logan all day. I love that movie.
All right, I guess it doesn't matter what Sean thinks. This is tough for me. The Mothman Prophecies or Joe Dirt?
This is not hard for me. Mothman Prophecies. Fuck Joe Dirt.
I'm gonna go Joe Dirt, but I do like the Mothman Prophecies. But I have to do it.
You're voting Joe Dirt?
I have to. I'm going for it.
No.
The one time you agreed with me on the show is when I don't care. I hate the Mothman Prophecies. And Joe Dirt wasn't even trying, so at least it was closer to the bar than Mothman Prophecies was in my opinion. The whole 9 yards, Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
Yeah, Snake Eyes.
This is a movie I hated in 1998. Like, watched it earlier. Was it this year or last year? I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Right? Awesome.
The Great Muppet Caper or Scream 4?
I enjoy both movies. Scream 4 was definitely like a wonderful bounce back from how awful Scream 3 was. So that is tough though. Muppet Caper's hilarious.
Got mad love for the Muppets, but Scream 4 is good. It's a damn good movie. I'm going Scream.
Yeah, I'll go Scream 4.
I haven't seen either one of them. Maybe the Muppet one. It's just been forever. Primer, The Abyss.
Primer, great movie.
Yeah, I'm going Primer.
Minority Report, 13 Ghosts.
Minority Report by a lot.
I'm gonna go 13 Ghosts. I get it. I understand that it's kind of a trash movie, but I like it. It's fun.
Top 10 worst movies of that year. 13 Ghosts is on that list.
It's one of those that I love watching it around Halloween. It's a good time. It's terrible, but it's a good time.
I hated 13 Ghosts, but I haven't seen Minority Report. So I'll just vote against 13 Ghosts. I don't need a flip. It's easy. 2 weeks notice, Alien vs. Predator.
Can we combine these movies and just have them kill each other?
That would be a fun movie.
All right, so we did that. We're going to do that twice, actually. Dangerous Minds, Corpse Bride.
Corpse Bride, love it.
Corpse Bride, great movie.
Flatliners, Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Flatliners.
1990 Flatliners.
Which Flatliners is it? Is it the OG one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one then. Yeah.
Harold and Maude, A Hard Day's Night.
A Hard Day's Night.
Yeah, I agree.
Casablanca, The Polka King.
I've not seen The Polka King, but it's obviously Casablanca regardless of what's up there. Even
Casablanca, Serpico.
Good movie, still Casablanca.
Yeah, Casablanca.
I'm looking for Johnny Depp. You guys been watching that?
I've kind of only vaguely watched it.
Oh my god!
I know that she cut
out on my end.
The Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff. I mean, I think it's safe to say it's kind of fallen out of the Me Too, and it's more of just these guys just didn't get along, and this is crazy. Like apparently he's claiming she's shit in the bed next to him.
That's the thing. Like that, the picture of that was bouncing around Twitter. Like I think last year.
What?
I remember
he claims it was dog shit, and then in court he goes, "But I'm pretty sure that wasn't animal fecal matter. That was human fecal matter." I mean, it is. I want to see the documentary of this trial later on.
I saw the picture of her and Kevin Nash floating around, and
and then
I heard him say something about her cutting off his fingertips.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The hell.
And they got her in court. I mean, I don't know. This should be. I wish it kind of would go away and they'd go just get out of their careers because it doesn't sound like either one of them should be. They just didn't get along and shouldn't really ruin either.
Yeah. But let's just end the podcast there, but we won't even bother with Mr. Flick Chart. But just a brief on this. Just that is such a great point. Is like this is really very personal shit, and I know that people want to make this about more and about canceling one or both of them for being a terrible person. But the reality is that these are just two personalities that really just didn't get along, and there may have been abusive aspects of it, but I don't know. I find it hard to demonize them both as being just completely awful human beings. They're just two people who really just didn't like each other and kind of took that out on each other. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Somebody's probably triggered by me saying that and saying, "Oh no, this person is a horrible human being who should just go away forever" or something. I don't know. I just think that I think your point there is that this is far more personal and not mundane, but just like between the two of them. And I think this ends up in the court as it does because we as a culture are just such a fucking train wreck culture that we have to stare down people's personal issues. And she did put it out there in public and did have this effect on his life that way. So he has no other recourse other than do what he's doing. But at the same time, I think our culture is making this worse than what it is overall.
Oh yeah. We were just talking about it earlier. It's like, some of these memes and everything are like really, really, really funny. But it's like on the other side, it's like, oh shit, these are people. Like these are real people that like whatever true, false, whatever the hell, like it's gotta suck. Like this whole thing has just been chaotic. And now there's go for it.
imagine your text messages being read to everybody
Yeah.
in the world. That's, even I mean, I can all day long say I have nothing to hide, but I don't know that I don't know what I joked around about or what's being said out of. I mean, they're like literally going through his text messages and like, so you wanted to kill her and this is how you wanted to do it? And he's like, no, I was joking around because I was frustrated to a friend.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing is, it's like you said, it's entertaining because we're lesser than, but we need to be not lesser than. And it really should go away. They should both get on with their careers and move on.
Yeah, I think the judge was really out of line allowing cameras in this courtroom, and that only made this worse. There's absolutely no public good that this served. Putting this out in the public like this, having this be on television, creating this television show around it's such bullshit. And that, frankly speaking, this judge needs to answer for the fact that he allowed cameras in that courtroom. This should be between them. Putting this out there on television and allowing cameras in the courtroom with this is it's just a garbage thing to have done.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, granted, it is a civil case and they're a lot more lenient, but it's crazy because like they're both putting on like these performances. Like there's multiple times where like Johnny Depp's just like full on making jokes and stuff. And yeah, it's funny, but if these were two other people on trial and someone was making this many jokes, it'd probably be a completely different fucking story. Like it's just chaos. And I'm glad I work the hours that I do, so I don't really see it while it's happening live. So I don't really have to like live in it like some people are. Like it's nuts. We live in a weird society. It's crazy.
It's messed up. If it was any of the three of us in this situation, it wouldn't be on television. It wouldn't be on CNN live. Like there's a million court cases, civil cases every year, divorces every year that are not on television, that are probably far worse than this. And those people go back to their jobs as, accountants and bond managers and bank managers and such. And nobody does anything to them, but because they're celebrities, we're just staring it down like we're at the scene of a car wreck, just sifting through the ashes. Like it's garbage, and it reflects the worst of our culture.
This is only a trial because they're celebrities. That's the other part.
Yeah.
I'm not getting publicity every time I poop the bed. Where's my time to shine? God damn it! Stupid.
Yeah, it's. Hopefully, they both can just kind of come over it and move on. Not just move on, but can maintain their careers. That's the one thing. Not that it matters. They're going to be fine either way. But
you guys are both in relationships. Try and imagine somebody, interviewing your wife or your girlfriend about the things that they've said about you to their friends. And somebody now is cross-examining them. Like, why did you say this about Bob? Or why did you say this about Zach? And it's like, Zach, I know.
Or vice versa.
I know your girlfriend pretty well. Like the shit she said about you, if she had to testify to that in court, it'd be hilarious.
God, it'd be awful. I'd want popcorn. It'd be fucking brilliant.
And it shows you what a joke our court system. I mean, they've taken all context out of everything, and they're reading back these things to both of them, and it's just like, really? I didn't literally mean what you're saying. Anyway, I don't know. You went on too long about it. I was just kind of curious. Go ahead.
We're watching two people just hurt each other in public, and it's garbage. It really shouldn't be public as it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so go see the Nick Cage movie, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and Robert Eggers will be the Northman. They're fantastic. We are all going to the World's Fair. Seems to be good, and Marvelous, and The Black Hole seems good. And Z's on HBO. Go see all of it. See you guys next week. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Deuces.